Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is me, your boy, man, NJ to the City. Probably you could say a part of NJ to the City News if you wanted to, but God first on whatever, segment you could call this. So, this title of this segment that I really want to title it is titled Rules to Telling the Truth, or Rules of Telling the Truth, because I can rest assure you, once again, I try God first what I can to literally tell the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. I try what I can to at times, not to say I always get it right. Like, I literally at times, can catch myself in a split lie for no good reason, and so on and so on. And it just goes where it goes. And I try what I can. I have guilt, to say that I got guilt sometimes, when I tell even the smallest lie, I'm like, why did I say that? Why did I do that? I'm like, I know I'm better than that. No, I could have done better than that. I have guilt or a conscience and so on. And I really want everybody to understand that one of the top things with rules of telling the truth is definitely make sure that you have some facts and evidence and sources to back up some of your stuff. Well, actually, I guess you could say if you're doing news reporting or whatever else, that's so you could say some rules of telling the truth. Other than that, I would definitely say try to make sure, like, in your most recent memory, God first within your recent memory, you have done this or you're about to do this or whatever else. Try what you can to have it as factual as you can with something you either definitely did do by your recent memory, so you are going to do because you have this ambition or you have this money in place or whatever else. Like, make sure that with the aftermath of things, you have receipts. Obviously, receipts are not always going to be actual like paper receipts, but receipts of like audio evidence, video evidence, bank account evidence or whatever else, because definitely nobody can tell you that you're lying then when you have stuff like that. Or if they can, you can definitely call them out right there and be like, hey, here's a receipt, be quiet, to a certain extent, because I can assure you once again, like I said before, my family life over these 21 years hasn't been the greatest all the time. And one of the top reasons why, because I'm a very outspoken individual. I'm not just gonna let you get away with lies, especially about me and or people I know about, so on and so on. I'm not gonna just let you get away with lies because you feel like you can, and that's the top thing that I can tell you that when it comes to my family, I've gotten in trouble with over the years is I've gotten in trouble with, calling people out for lying, calling people out for having double standards, calling people out for just not being biblical and so many other things. And they think they're so smart, they think they know this, they think they know that, and it's like, are you kidding me? Look what the Bible say here. Look what you just said 5 minutes ago. Look what you just did 2 days ago or whatever else. And like I said, I'm not a person that likes to negatively hold your past against you. I don't like to do that, especially if it's something you did like 2, 3 years ago. Again, we all continuously learn, build, and grow, you know, through the body of Christ each and every day. One of my biggest mottos to live by in today's day and age is the maturity that I had 2 days ago might not be the same maturity that I have now. To an extent, or definitely within that, few months and or years pattern. The same maturity that I had back then might not be the same maturity I have now because I'm continuously learning, building, and growing in Christ's name for the furtherance of all people. But a lot of people have made careers off of lying. Definitely, dare I say, ask your local politician, your local whoever, politics is pretty much known for, a cesspool of lies and or cesspool full of dirty work, sin, and a few other things I can name. But definitely the word sin sums it all up because lying is a sin and so on and so on. And I just want to let everybody know, because one of the top rules, if you were to ask me about telling the truth, would be knowing you have receipts for it and you can produce those receipts for it before, during, and after receipts. Dare I say it, that's probably one of the top rules, if not the only rule I can name here, is having receipts for it, because people just lie. Sometimes you can actually even force receipts, dare I say it. So again, try to make sure that you have everything authentic on those receipts, because some people like literally forge their receipts to say they was here, they was there when they weren't there. Again, talk to cyber people, like talk to people who know, tech like that, know camera, audio, video, something. They'll tell you can forge almost anything in today's technological age when it comes to facial recognition and whatever else, and you name it, you can forge almost anything. And it's a very scary world when it comes to that part of it. But I definitely want to let everybody know when it comes to rules of telling the truth, definitely make sure that you have undeniable facts and evidence, you have your receipts, and again, ultimately trust in God that He will have your back to literally just show those other people up that are doubting you here and there, hey, look here, look there. Oh yeah, go out there. God will show you this, whatever else. You get the point, because faith, at least for me, has definitely been on my side many times and has definitely shown people exactly what it is they needed to be shown. The only problem with that is a lot of people have still gone behind my back, did whatever they wanted to do, thought it was gonna hurt me, and at the end, you could definitely say they hurt themselves. Trust me, when you do things intentionally to try to hurt people, you literally end up hurting yourself at the end of the day. You literally do. You literally end up putting yourself in a curse, in a hex, in a daze, whatever word you want to use there. You end up hurting yourself, cursing yourself. For me, I can rest assure you, for the most part, I just let God do His work. I pray, I let God do His work. I go about things, try to do it very cleanly as possible, and just let God do His work. Especially when I know I'm not at fault. I'm not the one that's, doing wrong here. And I have, again, many things to back it up. I just let God do His work, because He is definitely the, all-knowing, all-powerful, creator, so on, many things I can say there. And that's one of the top biggest things about telling the truth that you have to understand. To an extent, just let God do His work. Really, if for them, if you can't physically produce those receipts, just let God do His work. Sit back, pray, and let God do His work, and let God help you develop your faith through that. Because I'm telling you, people lie. We live in a day and age where 2019, people just lie. And trust me, if they can forge those lies, they'll do it every time. People just lie, and I can just rest assure you, the top thing about me with telling the truth is, I'm never going to let you get away with two-faced, double standard bigotry. Or at least, especially when I know it is wrong. Sometimes I might just be like, you know what, God will throw something else in your path, and somebody else will do this job for me when it comes to calling you out. For the most part, I will be the first one to hold you accountable, other than whoever else might. But if I don't, trust me, if I don't hold you accountable, trust me, God will send somebody else to do that job for me. Because sometimes I've just gotten so tired of seeing certain people abuse certain laws and do whatever. I'm just like, you know what, I'm just going to just pass it off, pick my battles wisely, you could say, and just let God do His work, and hopefully somebody else will somebody else will call you out. But that's definitely one of the top things that I've gotten in trouble over the last, few years, last decade or so, with my family and so on, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people have. Definitely, if you're within politics to an extent, you've gotten in trouble with that when it comes to not letting people be hypocrites, double standard, have their own biased policies, bias whatever. And it's just like, are you kidding me? That's a blatant lie. That's blatantly hypocritical. That blatantly doesn't make any sense, and so on and so on. I can definitely tell you the top thing that separates me from a lot of people, other than the fact that I'm outgoing. Other than that, it's definitely the fact being that, I'm outspoken. Why am I outspoken? To an extent, I could say it's a blessing from God. But you ask me, why am I outspoken? Because in 2019, somebody has to be, to an extent. Unless you just want everybody to walk around like a bunch of blind sheep, to an extent. Or what other, quotation is, or quote better yet is. Unless you want everybody to just walk around knowing these things are happening but not saying anything, just staying silent. There's so many definitions to that, or so many phrases that go along with that analogy. People, again, you don't want to walk around blind. And a lot of people today are walking around blind to their sin each and every day. If not blind to it, fully embracing it and accepting it, it's just normal. Well, one of the top things is, the Bible does say, the consequence for sin, or the penalty for sin, something like that, is death. Think about it. So why do you think all these people keep on dying the way they do? To an extent, depending on what situation it was, why do you think they keep on dying? Because you're living in sin. You're living a life full of sin. And when you live a life full of sin, you definitely, to an extent, become numb to who God even is, and what morals are, and etc. And you just think it's all willy-nilly, it's all anything, and letting God be your judge and witness, you see where things end up getting you eventually. But again, I'm outspoken. One of the top things that I can tell you that I am is outspoken. Do I love it? Very much so, I do love it. And sometimes you can't care what the public perception backlash is. You have to be truthful. You have to try to be honorable. You have to try to hold people accountable. Because I can tell you, if you don't hold people accountable, People will think they have a free pass to just say and do whatever it is they want to because they feel spoiled, privileged, and entitled to it. He know, literally, take everything I just said and truly put it into a wide scope of things. If you do not hold people accountable for their actions, people are going to think that they have a free pass to just say and do anything they want to, even if it's blatantly wrong, blatantly hypocritical, because they feel like nobody's going to call them out on it. Now, also take this into context. Regardless whether you call them out on it, they're still going to do it the heck they want to because that's pride and that's ego. And it's also selfishness and the few other things I've already named in this. And that's one of the top reasons why I definitely should even touch on the topic of mental health with this because it's true. I can tell you that, once again, I'm open to whatever disorder that I might have. Why? Because I think we live in an age in 2019 where I definitely feel like, again, as a part of my calling, to be that beacon of hope to many kids out there that, hey, please go out there and get this diagnosis now when you're in elementary school, somewhere in elementary, or beginning not high school, somewhere in elementary, middle school, one of those two, so you don't have to regret not getting the help 10 years from now. If you can spot some of these, whatever you have, if you can spot it at the God first earliest of ages, trust me, I think it will save you a lot of heartache and pain 10 years from now, or even through middle school and through high school. It's going to save you a lot. Again, obviously, you can choose to tell people, you can choose not to tell people. Definitely, if you're going to tell people, you better learn how to have tough skin real quick because depending on what you have, people will bully you over that. One of the top things that I can't stand about middle school and high school, even though I love school as a whole, and again, God bless all my valuable kids that might be watching this, I love you all very deeply and very much. That's one of the top things that I can't stand about middle school and high school is they seem to be those two age points, group points, where once again, you're more than likely to get bullied, harassed, and whatever else, spit on to an extent for beliefs or for sexualities and again and what might be going on mentally with whatever mental disorder you might have or whatever else. But again, I can tell you that for the most part, try to do God first, do what you can to just own it, and like I say, definitely try to develop a relationship with God as soon as possible within whatever stage of schooling you're in, because trust me, if you can develop a stable foundation with the Lord, you are going to, He will guide you. Call on His name and He will absolutely guide you through middle school, through high school, and through adult life. And you have to keep on taking those processes or taking those steps to build within the process, go through it smoothly so you can develop, dare I say again, strong skin, to people who are trying to bully you, harass you. It won't affect you as bad. It really won't. If you develop that bit of faith now, the smallest bit of faith now, trust me, it won't affect you the way it does a lot of others, in middle school and high school. I believe absolutely no child should ever have to deal with, bullying and being negatively ostracized. And one of the top things with reading a lot of the school reviews I read, ladies and gentlemen, I'm absolutely disturbed, dare I even say horrified, that so many kids are going through bullying and harassment on an almost daily basis. And if not daily basis, they definitely dealt with a good year or two here and there. And it's just like, and for me, it's just like, are you kidding me right now? Again, you learn it from many things. I believe if it was video games, that's like a 1%. I don't believe that video games truly have as big of an effect. I don't really believe video games or even movies have as big of an effect to an extent as we think they do. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Do your own research and make your own, little, opinions out of it. I think that maybe video games and music have maybe a little 1%. If not, music, I know video games probably have a little 1%. Music probably has a lot more, because if you listen to some of these gangster drug rappers, and I don't mean of like decades ago, I mean like right here in this year, and probably even last year, or at least the last 2 to 3 years, trust me, it's garbage. And you're probably thinking to yourself like, wow, when it comes to listening to some of their lyrics, it's the demise of society. It's the demise of so many things. More coming soon. Your boy, the man, NJ to the city out. God bless one son of Shin. God has got over everything.